You're listening to Hey Pal, What's New with JohnAlex and Greg. Hey Pal, What's New is a GBR production. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Hey Pal, What's New can be found on Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google, Podbean, Pandora, and all your other favorite podcast locations. Warning, Hey Pal, What's New contains explicit content. JohnAlex and Greg are a pair of vulgar Gen Xers. If you are easily offended, please stop listening and go download a nice tame podcast like the Goop Podcast. You have been warned.
That's what happens when you sing for 4 hours.
Singers suck dick. That's what, that was not a and or inclusive and or.
Singers suck dick.
For those of you just tuning in, Greg was talking about his voice being all scratchy. He's like, "That's what happens when you sing for 3-4 hours." I said, "Or suck dick."
You said
Sing or suck dick.
I thought you said singers suck dick.
That's what I said.
Hey everybody, it's Sodomy Sunday, and it's Hey Pal, What's New? My name is Greg, and I got my buddy JohnAlex here, and we're kicking it on a Sunday night instead because we're busy people. We got lives, believe it or not.
We do.
No, I'm serious. We do have lives.
Oh, that's right.
So we decided to do a little Sunday fun day, a little Sodomy Sunday to keep your...
I don't have to run day, literally.
Yes.
After this weekend, I'm glad I don't have to run today.
God damn you, Bengals. Anyway, we're here to talk about a whole bunch of stuff in the Sweat Lodge and kicking it old school style at the CCC. And, man, so, we, what's new?
What's new?
Yeah, I know you did a lot of running.
I wish my legs were new. Yes, I ran this weekend. And I run.
Did you run so far away?
I did.
Did you run all night and day?
Oh boy, did we. we ran. That's another story. I got stories from this run that'll make your freaking pubes straight.
Oh,
So the run for it's called Ragnar. I've always done the trail ones because I like the trail ones because you just like fucking throw up a tent, everybody's hanging out, eating food. You got your little common camp areas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 trails that everybody's constantly running. Those 3 until everybody runs all of them. This is road, so it's started in Groton, Connecticut, and went all the way to Quincy, Mass. There was one jump in the run. Because just before Providence, we stop, and they're like, okay, everybody get in your vans. You're going to drive a half an hour that way before you start running again because you do not want to run through these neighborhoods.
Talk about we own the city. I'm always amazed that you're running because I'm like, I get out of breath, going to the fridge.
And one of the nice sides of it was talking to all these other people I've run with and haven't seen in a while, and all being like, they've all had COVID too, and like, ever since having COVID, I've lost my wind. I've lost the ability, get so winded so fast now running.
I'm sure.
It's a bitch. But there were so many crazy fucking spots on that run. And I sent you the picture of the one.
Yeah, you did. Do you share that one of the Pennywise?
No,
tunnel?
but I'll put it. I'll put it on our on our webpage.
Yeah.
Or I'll send it to you. You can pop it up on the webpage. I forget where that was, but the part about that was I'm running through this fucking neighborhood, and you're like running, and you're like, oh, look, Taco Bell. You're on the streets, turn down through these neighborhoods, and it's like I'm running. You got a headlamp on so you can see the ground. I'm like, oh, look, a fucking weave. And then I run a little bit more, and I'm like, why is there a mattress here? I was like, is that in case I get tired, I want to take a nap?
What was that, the 70s?
And then I come around, I go across this road, and it's like the signage sucked, and it was like, go this way, and I went the wrong way, and then I had to run a quarter mile back. And I go down this thing, and I was like, this can't be right. There's fucking homeless people in tents. And then there's the picture that I sent you of this tunnel under the road that I don't even know if it's a path, a trailway, goes through, and it's fucking pitch black, and you're running through this rail trail in the pitch black. And I was like, I'm going to get raped. Maybe. Hopefully. I don't know.
Fingers crossed, everybody.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, God, yeah. I thought all that stuff ended in the 70s of, like, mattresses in the woods and stuff. Remember that when we were kids? It was like you'd find, like, a busted-up car or van, like, in the middle of the woods. Like, how the fuck did that get there?
I think the mattresses in the woods when we were kids was like people like, let's take this old mattress of mine, we'll put it in the woods. Whenever we want to fuck, we don't have to lay on the ground. We can lay on the mattress. No, this is someone's like, I don't want to pay to get rid of this fucking mattress. Throw it out the side of the road.
Yeah, because, like, years ago, like, decades ago, people would just leave their cars, like, on the FDR.
Oh, yeah.
Just abandon their car.
Well, nowadays you got the little, like, sign on your car, like, I'm coming back. That happened in our day, like, fucking come back, your car's on cinder blocks and everything's missing.
Oh, yeah. I remember my dad, too, one time where I was having a problem with my car. And, you know, my dad always thought he was, like, in the Irish Mafia or something like that. Or he'd hang out at, like, Mario's and, like, with his buddies.
Let me go talk. I got a guy, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg, I got a guy.
Yeah. Well, I think, did I tell that one story? I think it was of where my car got, when I lived in Peekskill, there was a hit and run and somebody smashed up my car on the, and it was drivable, but it was like not, you know, the axle was definitely fucked up, right? So I call my dad because you
like
don't call
cartoon where the car's doing like a hip.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a giddy up.
You give that like old false hope of like, you know, I can still drive it. I can still drive it. Talking to a guy who also is driving right now with no air conditioning in his car.
Oh shit!
I'll get it fixed.
You need it now.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the Volkswagen I bought from Walter for $600. It had no fucking heat, and I bought it when? Oh, the fall, just before winter.
Yeah. That old gag. Yeah, so like one time, instead of calling AAA or roadside assistance, I call my dad. I go, Dad, somebody hit my car. I don't know what happened. He goes, yeah, don't worry. He used to hang out at this gas station. His friend Mario, right? And he's like, Dad, don't worry about it. I'll have Mario come down and take the car. I'm like, all right. So he comes. Mario's guy comes, takes the car, takes it away.
I gotta ask you: do you think the guy your dad called goes, "Hey Mario, it's John Gilroy"? He's like, "Oh hey John," or do you go, "Oh fuck this guy again"?
No, he would hang out in there. Like they called him Tugboat.
Okay,
that's where he got his nickname, Tugboat. Hey Tugboat, what are you doing? You know. So they pick me. They come take the Saturn away, taking it to there. It was the silver Saturn. Took it away and Geico. I filed a claim and all that stuff. So 2 days later, I get a call from Geico, and they're like, yeah, so, we checked out the car. Yeah, it's totaled. It's really totaled. So we're going to, pay whatever you owe on it plus, the value. And I was like, really? It's totaled? Oh, okay. I guess that's what it was. So I was like, this car. And so as soon as I hang up with Geico, I call my father. And I go, Dad, Geico just called and said that the car was totaled. He goes, yeah, we took care of it. I'm like, what do you mean we took care of it? He goes, I don't want to talk on the phone. I'm like, what? Like, yeah. Make a long story short, yeah.
So what you're doing is you're admitting to your dad committing insurance fraud.
He's dead. Who cares?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, just like when I was having a problem with my car one time, my father goes, all right, here's the deal. You take your car, you drive it down to, we're going to go see your grandmother down in Sheepshead Bay. You're going to park it in this one spot, and we're going to leave it. The next day, it'll be gone. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
that's good to know. Yeah, my dad talked like Uncle June. Hey.
Uncle June.
I got the big casino there, Uncle June.
Wait, I have to tell you this one. On the races, one guy he was talking about, in my van, talking about a drunken night he got a tattoo.
Oh, boy.
He had other tattoos already, but he got a tattoo of a smiley face on his ass.
Jeez.
So at the second exchange, it was at this school, technical institute, and they let us go in the gym and sleep on the floor. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, welcome to refugee status, everybody. I wound up sleeping in the van. Needless to say,
yeah, we've all
slept
in the van.
I go into the bathroom, the locker room to go pee, and when you walk through the door, it's like you either go left or right. Mm-hmm. There's a sink in front of you, but it's like left or right to go. And I turn to the left and look, and there's showers, but in the last shower, it's just naked ass. And I look, and then I go, oh God, and I go, wait, I had to do a double take. And I was
you
like,
just saw a face smiling at you?
I saw the little, like, on the plastic bags, like, have a nice day.
Yeah.
It was just not color, just the black
Oh.
ink. But I was like, that's a smiley face. I was like, I know who that is.
Is it wrong that I was disappointed it wasn't colored yellow?
It was
I'd be like, yo, go touch that up, Uncle June. Hey, June, color that up. Yeah,
Dude, these Ragnars are crazy because you're in a van for like over 36 hours with these people. It's like sleep, eat, everything,
Yeah, try going on tour for a month. We all watched that freaking animation.
But at least you knew those people. I only knew one person in this van before this trip.
Yeah, that's true. But you probably know them very well now after 36 hours.
Oh, boy, do I. And they know me very well.
Oh, boy.
And they're the kind of people I was like, oh, God. I was like, when are we stopping for support? Because when your runners get out, it's like if I got to run 5 miles, the van's allowed either full support or no support, where in that 5 miles, you can stop your van. So when your runner runs by, you're like, you need something to drink? You need anything? You all right? Is everything okay? But I was like, oh, is this a support run? They're like, yeah, why? And I was like, okay, because I got to fart. And they're like, oh, just let it rip. I was like, oh, I don't think you guys want that. And they're like, let it rip. And I ripped it. And they're like, whoa, no, it's bad.
Yeah, you don't want those vegan burrito farts. I've experienced them. Too sweet. So that was good. As far as my week goes, it was well, the cover band had a gig. Split Decision. We had a gig at a sip and stroll, which was quite fun. I didn't think a lot of people were going to show up because, yesterday, if you're in the New York area, it's like 95 degrees. Today's like 91. So, first of all, we're playing outside.
Right.
I'm like, oh, God. Second of all, we're playing in a parking lot. We're like, fuck.
Asphalt.
Yeah, good old asphalt. But we have tents and stuff like that. But they took pity on us and they put us in a corner where we were under a tree. It was like 20 degrees cooler. But, we were actually prepared for this one. Like, I doused myself. I felt like I was going to the beach. Like, I had one of these on. I'm doused in sunscreen. I'm, like, slimy and, like, sweating before I even start playing. But it was there was, like, over 200 people there. Just on and off,
So what is a sip and stroll?
A sip and stroll, Jonathan, is when the town, there's, like, 4 corners in the town of New Fairfield. A couple of places. For $30, you can go in and you get a glass. And then you basically bar hop to all these different places.
Okay.
And we played at this one place, Portofino's. I'm going to give them a shout out on the pod. Awesome Italian restaurant right in New Fairfield. They treat us like kings. It was awesome. So each place, even the yoga place, like this place, and people basically bar hop. You get $30, you get your mug, and you go to, and they fill it up. So it's like open bar. You just fill it up, and you walk around the town, and there's bands playing.
Like the soda machine at the movie theater?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, you go into each place, and like Portofino's had like.
Thank God you stopped drinking. That would have been disastrous.
Yeah, it would have been like friggin', drinking stink. It would have been instead of sip and stroll. Yeah. But there was one person that did pass out. Now, we were taking bets whether it was the heat or the alcohol or both.
I the combo.
I missed it, unfortunately. She just dropped like a sack of potatoes. And it did remind me of back in the day when we used to do Hit It, Kid.
Back in the days when I was young.
God damn it, we're old. It reminded me of when we were in marching band and we'd have to do the Memorial Day parade.
Oh, God.
So you do that march, which wasn't it wasn't the actual march that was bad. It was the ceremony they had.
Yep.
Where we all had to stand in full uniform.
Arms crossed,
at ease, listening to, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I support the veterans and the military and all that stuff, but they were just, and we used to take bets on like, all right, who's going to pass out? Because one person always passed out.
Yep.
I forget.
And those are those heavy, like, were they wool or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
It was like deadly.
Yeah, because normally when we would do competitions and shows, you were playing in like 10 degrees. It was like, in the winter or the late fall. But there was always St. Patrick's Day, which was March, so it was bearable. But Memorial Day.
It was hit or miss, I feel like, with Memorial Day. There was like, you were dying from the heat or it was fine.
Yeah. But I just remember, I forget.
Anything.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. There was one. And I'm carrying like.
I'm going to go with Eric Sagrin passed out now.
Old Eric Sagard.
I only say that because he came up in my feed today on Facebook. I was like,
well, he played that show with us, the Waiting Nine or whatever. He's in a band, man.
I'm in a band.
I ran into when we played The Chance.
Right.
This band was playing, and back when we were called Greg Gilroy and the Critically Ashamed, he was like, that can't be the same Greg Gilroy. And I'm like, oh, yes, it was.
Oh, yes, it is.
And we ended up playing another show together in Jersey. But, yeah, we used to always take bets on, like, who was going to pass out. And you could see them just kind of doing this.
Weaving.
And you're like, oh. It's like, oh, man, who got the flute player? Who got the flute player? Damn it. Meanwhile, I'm holding a fucking euphonium. It's like, but, yeah, so it was a big heat-filled, but, hey, man.
That sounds like they do something like that in Poughkeepsie. One of the streets, they just straight down for blocks. It's people out in front, like bands just playing block after block after block.
Yeah, and what was cool is that they didn't have bands competing. Like, there wasn't like a band here and a band all playing at the same time. So, like, when we finished, there'd be another band in another location. And so people made the rounds. I mean,
this like the thing you did in Danbury a couple of years back? I feel like you did one of these in Danbury.
This one we do every year.
All
There's like certain gigs that we do every year that's like, but they paid us well, they fed us well. It was a good time. And so today, that's why I'm sucking down the old Halls Mentholyptus today, just because of that, and just exhausted. But and I did bring this up to my boy when we were trying. Sometimes you're driving, and I'm coming here to the podcast, and it's kind of the same thing when I used to do it with my therapist, where I'd be like, "What the hell am I going to talk about today?" Like, I'm going to warn you right now, if they ain't fucking
the universe
shit,
provides.
Yeah, they ain't shit for music right now, but I do have one or two. But I'm driving, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm really tired. My throat hurts. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I go pop into a Chestnut Mart, and there's a gentleman on the floor, flat on the floor, and he's about my weight. Defeated, the most defeated look, like not like ow, not just deadpan. That, and his little red-haired girlfriend is standing like over him on the phone, yelling at like either a claims person or an ambulance.
Probably the insurance to get an ambulance.
Yeah, he fell in the Chestnut Mart, and I had to get there, and he is already due for surgery. Aren't you due for the surgery, honey? Yes, we're due for surgery. And when you walk in and I see this gentleman on the floor, what do you do?
No.
Now, we're New Yorkers, right? We're like fucking homeless people. We walk over them, right? We're like, fuck you. But I just kind of like walked around them. And then I go get my drink and my Halls or whatever. And this guy, then the next, and everybody that's coming in after me is like, what the fuck is this? Like, there's just some guy laying on the floor. Next guy that comes in, he had to be about 6'5", 6'6", easily over 3 bills.
Jesus.
He looked like a giant. He looked like if ODB ate somebody. Like, it's just, he was huge, and he had the little puff thing on the top, and cool guy, right? Wearing all red. He comes walking in, and he looks down, and then he goes over the aisle, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Yikes!" Like that. Yikes. I go, yeah. So he gets his stuff. I get that. The poor woman working at the chest. She's on the phone with her boss. Like, what do I do? There's this guy on the ground. And I'm like, there you go. I got comedy gold. And I go up to my thing. And then she's done on the phone. And this poor girl, cute little girl working behind the counter. She's like, has a folder. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Like, they don't train
There's
you
no
for
checklist for this.
They don't train you for a fat guy on the floor,
Where's the fat guy on floor checklist? Yeah. I don't know what to do.
I didn't see this in the video. So
go back down there and get the
I guarantee
footage.
I when I pulled up, I was like, John, grab your Zoom. We're going over there just to freaking interview. How do you feel?
Are you all right, buddy?
And I go get my stuff, and then as I'm leaving, she gets off the phone with the insurance or whoever she's talking to, and then she just looks at him and points at him and goes, "Stay, stay, stay." And he's just, I've never seen a gentleman.
Oh, that poor man. So
I felt so bad. He wasn't wincing in pain. He was just flat. Like, when you have a sore back, you like to lay in a flat surface just to kind of stretch it. So he's just sitting there, He's waiting. Everybody's looking at him. And, even though I'm an alcoholic, I was so tempted to go over, buy him a king can of beer, and just put it next to him and go, here you go, buddy. It's going to be all right. Just drink this.
I'm going to tell you, man, the way you describe that, first off, I picture you walking through the door like again, you can't say anything.
No.
I'm gonna say, as a white guy, like I can't really say anything because like I'll get some shit for that.
But no, the guy that was on the floor was white. He
right?
was, yeah.
But if the guy who walks through is black, he's just like, yikes! I literally picture you like Silent Bob standing there looking at him, going like, just kind of looking around like, what the fuck do I do with this?
Yeah.
And then the guy walks in next to you, and you're both looking at it, and you look at each other, and he goes, yikes! And you do the I picture you doing the Kevin Smith Silent Bob like.
Yeah.
Wide-eyed head shaking. Yeah. I can't say anything, but yeah.
Yeah, he just looked at me and just went, yikes. And I went, yeah. Isn't this cool?
I smell, okay, bringing it back to John, I smell some insurance fraud here.
Oh,
This is, honey, we go in there. You want me to suck your dick later? You want your dick sucked later? You're going to fall on that floor. And then we'll go to court. And they always settle. We'll get like $20,000 and we'll get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, come back in a month, that Chestnut Mart's going to be like a fucking shell. I know. I hate that. Well, first it was Mobile on the Rag. Then now it's Chestnut Mart.
I got your chestnuts here.
Because let me tell you, it was raining outside, but it wasn't like slip and slide. Like,
no, but I guarantee you're saying this is a big fat guy. I mean, we've all been there.
Was he a great big fat person?
Was he a great big fat person?
About size 14.
About size 14. Mister, I got your dog. I guarantee he's doing the shuffle walk. He doesn't even pick his feet up. He's like, slide.
Oh, yeah, like my dad used to do. He used to walk like, if you've ever watched, if you're in our generation or probably older, if you remember the Carol Burnett show, they used to have that guy, Mr. Wiggins. He used to walk like that. That's how my dad used to walk. He had a big gut like me, little legs, little chicken legs, and just like walk like this. Hey.
I'm still surprised my legs are holding me up.
Yeah, and he used to have the big brace on. He looked like a freaking Michelin man. He was just like,
oh, God, that's horrific.
I love that, man. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much our weeks right now. But thank you, Chestnut Mart, for giving me some comedy. But we ended up talking about all kinds of stuff. And you had mentioned something about, well, we're not going to get into the horse stuff.
No, well, I was talking about the fact that, like, in the van, like, these wacky conversations just happen. And, like, again, I don't know these people. And I'm like, you got to feel them out. And at one point, like, I FaceTime Kat and we're talking stuff. And I don't even know what we were talking about, but something was said. And one of the guys one of the people in the van says something perverted, right? And she goes, "What did you say?" I said, "Oh, that wasn't me. That was so and so." And she goes, "Holy shit!" And when I got home, she's like, "These really are your people."
Yeah, you found your tribe.
Because one of the people in the van kept talking, like, just brought up at a couple occasions the auto blow, which is like a fleshlight with mechanics inside it that basically makes it feel like you're getting a blowjob.
See, I didn't know. I mean, the fleshlight alone is just enough for me.
That's what I said. And I was like, I don't think I could do that because I think I'd be too distracted by the the mechanics of it going, like, grinding. What was that show about the white rapper guy who's like the Jewish white rapper? It was like, yeah. So on one of the episodes, he's got his Oculus on. He's got the auto blow on, but it's like ka-chunga, chunga, chunga, ka-chunga, chunga. It's making all this noise. Like, I would never be able to keep myself fucking hard, knowing I've got this mechanics on my dick.
Yeah, I mean, the form of masturbation looks stupid to begin with.
Oh yeah,
add on a machine. Yeah.
And that brought up the fact that I said that there's I don't know how we got in the conversation of horse blow. The horse blow video, the girl blowing a horse.
Excuse me, sir, that would be horse gag.
Horse gag. The woman blowing a horse who fucking dumps such a big load in her mouth. She's like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I think it's amazing that
story of my life, kids.
I think it's amazing at porn shops they have fucking horse dick shaped like fucking and dog dick dildos, and I'm like, do they have like dog and horse penis? I mean, vagina like things. Like, how is that?
Well, they do have blow up sheep.
Yeah, but you're like a. I think that's a gag thing, though.
Yeah,
But the fucking horse dick dildo is real. It's like you're like this close to bestiality at that point.
Yeah, this was happened before we were on the pod. He's like, I don't understand why, this store, I won't name the name, but this store has a horse cock. And I'm like, wait, rewind? Who has these? And where can I get one?
But yeah, because that was what was leading me to the conversation. Them talking about the fucking auto blow. I was like, I could just never do it. But then started the conversation of dirty moms of Peloton. So apparently,
I think I rented that once when I was on a trip before the internet.
There's a Facebook group, and I've said I just can't. I mean, let alone paying $2,000 for an exercise bike.
Yeah,
but on top of that, every month shelling out $45 for a membership to the Peloton like classes and shit online from your basement.
Yeah.
There's a Facebook group called the Dirty Moms of Peloton.
Nice.
And you have to prove like you're a Peloton user, and you have to give your like Peloton account name so that they can verify you're on there and that you're who you know. Mm-hmm. But they just talk about dirty shit, and and they were all amazed, and I'm like, okay, like they're a little bit more sheltered than I thought they were, but whatever. They brought up the one of the moms like, so it's my husband's 50th birthday, and as a present I bought him something he's always talked about wanting to try, so I bought it, and I bought him a milking table. And for those of you who don't know what a milking table is,
please enlighten me.
Do you know? A milking table is like a massage table.
Okay.
But it's got a hole in the middle of it, so you lay face down on it with your dick hanging out the hole, and then whoever gets underneath there and jerks you off like they're milking a cow.
Oh, I've seen those videos. I just didn't know they were actually called a milking table. I always thought it was hysterical.
And in Dave, in the show, Dave, he's always told his girlfriend he wants to try this, so she gets a milking table for him. And they're in like his like garage apartment at his mom's house. His apartment is the garage.
Yeah.
And he's laying on the table, and she's down there milking him. And all of a sudden, you hear, the garage goes up. And he's sitting there, and he's like, oh shit! And she's under the table fucking milking him. But he's supposedly got like a really deformed penis because he had like some urethra problem in the show. But,
oh God. Yeah, it's that feeling of
which, and it's always amazing to know that. I said that, there's different, of course, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was pretty much my week. Your week was gigging out all weekend.
You were running, I was gigging, and now I'm just freaking recovering, sucking down halls, and I'm going back to my work week. But
well, I probably got about as much news as you had. Fucking have music. I got nothing.
It's a good thing that the fat guy fell on the floor, because we're going to be short with all the music and TV. Well, I saw some movies and TV, definitely.
Well, I'm not even going to go. I'm going to. That's all I'm giving.
Wow.
The only fucking news I could find really that was worth talking about was, so Evil Dead.
Yes.
Finally came out with their game, and I think they're trying to ride on that. There's a horror series that like it's like hard. I wish
Five Nights at Freddy?
No, it's like Live Till Dawn. It's the game has all these add-ons. Like, oh, I got this game, but now I'm going to do like the chapter that's Halloween. Oh, now I'm going to play the chapter of the game that you're like surviving.
Like
Friday the 13th
packs
scenario
and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's something till dawn, but Evil Dead finally came out with their own actual game, and from what I understand, it's basically a very limited game, and it's crap. The only shining star of the game is there's a lot of like half-assed fan service shit and horrible game mechanics.
Yeah,
but you got Bruce Campbell doing the voice of Ash, so they said he's your Bruce Campbell. It's what you expect of Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that redeems this game in the slightest.
Well, I looked it up, on the Game Pass, and it was or on the Xbox, and it was like $40 just normal. And I was like, I didn't make the mistake. I did get before that I got Friday the 13th game.
Okay.
Which was cheap. I got like, it was like $10 or something like that, with the code or whatever. And I'm scared of the Evil Dead one just because of that, because the Friday the 13th one now, graphics are great, all this stuff, but it's just basically you're either Jason or you're the counselors, and you're just running away from Jason. And it's totally dark. You can barely see what's going on. It's not like, like when you're playing like
Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto or like Red Dead Redemption when you're walking.
Games.
Oh, yeah, me too. I get sucked into Red Dead like all day long. but you hit the A button to run faster.
Yeah.
You're just lumbering Jason. And you're just like walking to. I'm gonna kill a counselor.
Oh boy.
And then you can do it online with other ones. I'm a big horror fan, and I heard Evil Dead. I don't know. I haven't really heard any reviews of it. They're coming out with a Texas Chainsaw one too, and it's like the graphics look insane, but
that's where they spent all the money.
You're just, I'm gonna get you. You know, I mean, I get the zombie ones because there's a bunch, but like if you're Jason, yeah, it's cool. You could be either like, you know, hockey mask Jason or bag Jason or you know. The graphics are great, but it's snooze fest. I just want to kill things, man. I just want to kill it. So that's all you got, man? Game stuff?
Well, no, that and the only other thing I got that I kind of like caught my attention. It's not even news. The Boys trailer.
Season 3 of The Boys.
Oh my god, the trailer that dropped though last week.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
Oh
and I haven't watched it yet. Apparently, the first 8 minutes of Stranger Things is online. I have not watched it because I don't want to ruin it by watching that that's us.
Yep.
I don't want to watch the first 8 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to ruin it by watching those first 8 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, this is so weird. I just want to look on our page. Anyway, but yeah, I did watch the first 8 minutes.
And
you're not missing much.
Okay, good.
It's not essential to the story. It's just kind of like that cold open kind of thing. But, you know, I was like, all right, you know.
But there's apparently episode split?
Yeah, well,
are they doing that like, half the season?
And it starts next week.
Fuck. Is it going to be, it's going to be dump all at like 5 episodes at once or some shit? And then...
They're doing the Ozark thing where it's just like, here's all of one half.
I still have not watched the last half of that Ozark.
Ooh.
I want to live in the world where like it's not shit.
Yeah, you don't want to get disappointed. We'll get disappointed when we talk about movies.
Oh yeah. You had a disappointing movie?
Well, it was one that you saw that I finally watched, Firestarter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
There's one I watched a movie this week. It was fucking shit.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely get into that stuff.
Yeah, that's my news.
It's a short one, kids.
Nah, this is one of those weeks where we're literally just gonna sit and shoot the shit.
No, you know what it is too is that next week, like everything's dumping, like Stranger Things, Obi-Wan.
I'm working my way to. I gotta go see if I can get it Tuesday. Top Gun movie,
Maverick,
which I hear is fucking out of this world.
People are ranting and raving about Maverick.
And I've got an invitation to a special sneak preview of it on Tuesday.
Ooh.
So
see, we're like press.
So I'm thinking about going to do that. I just got to talk to the old Admiral Bird upstairs.
The old Admiral Bird,
bound for Brooklyn.
You almost said warden.
I was gonna say the warden upstairs. She hates when I fucking call her that.
I used to call my ex the warden.
The ball and chain, the warden.
Yeah.
Or she hates also when I call her boss. I'm not the boss.
I'm not the boss. You
Okay.
could have fooled me. My ex, I used to have, and she got so mad because I downloaded the Ring a text tone for her.
Right.
It was from Mars Attacks. She was like, wait, that's not me, is it? I was like, yeah.
Now you make me. Now I gotta look while we're doing this. So that TV wise, what do we got here?
Well, we doing movies first. We doing TV. We can do TV first.
I watched a lot of TV shit.
I did too.
I watched Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh, how was that?
There was I think there's one episode so far. Or was it? No. It was the whole season. It was a season drop. I watched all of it. I actually really liked it.
Okay. It's kind of the same as the movie one? Or
yes.
Just like, okay.
Same kind of premise. He was a lawyer, but now like some guy died, and a lawyer who he knew died and left his practice to him, and the judge is like, well, you can do it. And he works mostly out of his
Lincoln. Yeah.
But he doesn't drive. He's got a driver now. So he's in the back working while she's driving.
Oh.
I watched that. It was good. Give it a look if you're bored.
I did see it on Netflix because I was on there. What was I watching?
I don't know. I wasn't with you.
I did catch it. For some reason. Now, Jackass Forever is on Paramount Plus, the movie.
Jackass 4.5?
Is on Netflix.
Okay, whatever.
Which is, the only thing is I watched it. It was all right. It was a quarter chub. Like, I got kicked in the nuts too many times, and it's just kind of dangling Chubb. But it just fascinates me with those guys where A, how old they are and they're still doing it, and B, they shoot so much footage that they can come out basically with 2 movies. And they've done it for every single one, where it's like Jackass 2, Jackass 2.5, Jackass 3D, Jackass. It's like this Jackass 4.5, it was an hour and a half.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
it was another fucking movie. Different stuff. I mean, they always make me laugh, but at the same time, I was just like...
I got to tell you, I haven't watched a Jackass since, like, Jackass maybe 2.
Really?
I think I watched maybe just 1. Yeah, maybe 1.
Wow. See, yeah, I mean, they for some reason that show always makes me laugh. I don't know why. Like, I could watch the same episodes over and over again. I mean, people get hit in the nuts, but I mean, this one is almost kind of, you know, as much as I love those guys and love the TV show and the movies and stuff. Now they're at the age where it's like they're 50, and you're like, that you know, when you're 22 and you get kicked in the nuts, it's funny, you know.
Right.
When you're 50. You're like, ooh, that could really hurt. You know, like I'm surprised they're not. I thought they were dead.
I stubbed my toe and I'm like on the floor for 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I did watch that today, actually, just to kill time. That was like really the only movie. And then, as far as movies go, well, what are we doing? TV? We do
whatever. Who gives a fuck? This is my wife's ringtone. Ready?
Meow, meow, meow. Well,
Yeah.
hey, at least it's Maz. It's not, you know.
It used to be the Emperor's March.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And my students would be like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my wife." It's like, seriously?
Yeah, man. She's got a sense of
what are you gonna
humor. Why not?
She doesn't like Star Wars.
Yeah.
The other show I did watch was so we're just doing whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
So
we're volleying, as they say. We're gonna hit
I
it
kind of
back
threw
and
it by you
forth.
before. I watched that movie with Karen Gillan. I think that's her name. She plays what's her name in
in that thing. Nebula?
Nebula.
Yeah.
She plays Nebula. She was also Amy Pond in Doctor Who.
Oh.
She had this movie called Duel, and the whole premise is like she finds out she's dying, and I'm gonna super speed through this. She finds out she's dying, and it's in a future where you can get like a clone of yourself made.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets a clone of herself made, and so that like the clone can live as her when she dies. So her boyfriend is okay and her mom is okay, and they don't have to deal with her dying and all.
Wouldn't that be horrible? Like,
And
you're just like, I've been fucking the same girl for 60 years. And then she dies. Hey, I got a clone. Oh shit, I gotta keep fucking the same. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding, everybody.
So she's supposed to be dying. So she gets this clone made, and she has time to like teach her clone about who she is and her life and everything. And then she finds out she's in remission. She's not going to die. Well, got to choose you or the clone. So you have 1 year to prepare for a duel to the death. Look,
Wow.
it was bad. It was a fucking snooze fest. I literally I never do this. I found myself just going skip, skipping section, like hitting that 15 seconds ahead because it was just so fucking boring. I said I wouldn't even give it like a limp chub. I would give it like I'm not coming out of my shell turtle chub.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like it's too cold in the room. Like,
it was
you
so
had it
fucking
itty?
cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a bunch of it felt like something a bunch of high school kids would do for a final project for their like film class in high school.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, thinking about movies and stuff, you know. Really, the only ones, like, I mean, Batman, even that, I've watched it again, and I'm kind of like, all right. Well, you know, it's kind of worn off a little bit. Even Doctor Strange we talked about, where it was like, okay.
It was good at first, but then it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, they rated it 80%. I'm like, I get that. I get it.
Coming out of the theater, I get it.
Yeah.
I would probably rate it like 60 at this point.
Yeah. And so there hasn't really been any, you know, even the big tentpole movies where it's just like, you know, I'm hoping Love and Thunder is going to be great.
Hope.
Yeah. You know, Marvel right now, just being a Marvel shill.
You're such a
yeah, like even the show, like everything's just been kind of subpar. I mean, even like, and I'm sorry, Barry, if you're listening, probably not. Throwing shade. Did it get dark in here? Shoresy, the spin-off show from Letterkenny. I'm like,
I don't know that I'm really enjoying this. I didn't really enjoy the 10th season that they did, or whatever the last season they just did. I was like, I feel like they're just phoning it in. They should have just given up and let it go. Let it die. Let it die.
Let it die. Let it shrivel up and die. Huh? Anyway.
Now you do the crickets.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as like movies go, I haven't really seen anything that's really kind of blown. I mean, since Spider-Man No Way Home. And even that was like, it would have been way better if it wasn't talked about so much and spoiled.
Yeah.
TV.
And I stayed away from, like, I watched the first couple of trailers of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm staying away from everything.
It's really hard to.
It is.
You know?
Even Thor Love and Thunder, they haven't started that cycle of, like, just hammering you. No pun intended. Yeah. Hammering you with shit on Thor Love and Thunder. But as soon as they start, I'm like, I can't watch. Even now, there's like some shit that's up on the place where I watch my trailers. That's like, oh, behind the scene, new TV spot for Miss Marvel. I'm not watching it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the little 30-second ones, whatever. But I mean, what are you gonna get from it? Except maybe like, oh, that's cool. You know, like there's just too much. Like, I think that's probably why a lot of times with these movies we're pretty critical about them because there's just so much to watch.
Oh yeah.
So you're just like, I wasted I could have been watching 50 other things, and I had to watch this.
Have we talked about the She-Hulk trailer?
No, we haven't.
Because even that, like, I watched it and I'm like so excited because I love her. The Maslany, I can't remember her first name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
She was the girl from Orphan Black, which was a fucking show I loved. And I'm watching, I'm like, oh man, the CGI is horrible, but then I'm like, well, maybe they'll fix it.
That's what people are saying. Like, they wanted to put something out.
Please Sonic the Hedgehog the shit out of this.
Yeah,
like,
because
hey, the fans have spoken.
Yeah.
The CGI is cheesy and shitty and uncanny valley. Fix that shit before you release this show.
Yeah, and especially
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of weeks we get like a little like the release of She-Hulk has been delayed.
I don't know if it'll be delayed, but they'll definitely fix it. But I think the theory that there was some kind of rumors about tension on the set and stuff like that, so they wanted to squash it and just be like, look, everybody, She-Hulk.
Tension between who?
Just on the set with like producers and actors and stuff like that. I never heard anything about it, but some of the theories of like they wanted to do like damage control because think about it. I mean,
she's a lawyer.
Yeah, well, she's coming out. I mean, She-Hulk's coming out.
She-Hulk,
in August.
attorney at law. Bum 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 bum.
But it, for them to show a full trailer like that for an August show, most of the time they don't do that.
No,
they'll maybe like a month before, or 2 months before. Like it's pretty early for a trailer, so I'm hoping that they were like, look, let's just throw it out there, let them know that it's happening, blah 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 blah. And they're getting shit about the CGI, so they're just like, all right, well, we'll fix it.
Well, they're focused on the CGI and not the drama on set.
Yeah. So they'll just
classic.
Isn't this cool?
I mean, I know in a lot of the other stuff, like we've seen trailers, especially for like, what was it? Not Endgame. Was it Endgame? That the trailer had Hulk in it, but then the fucking movie had Hulk nowhere in it.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Running into the battle in Wakanda, you had like Hulk out front in the photos and everything.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it was Bruce Banner in the Iron suit.
Yeah, same thing.
Hulkbuster suit.
Same thing with Rogue One, where they have that scene where Jin's on the
that's
TIE
not a
fighter.
revolution.
And the TIE fighter comes up, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Wasn't in the movie.
Nope.
So they do that. They have footage that. So, I hope for the best. Yeah, because I do like She-Hulk as a character, and I have been enjoying all the Marvel shows.
Right.
It's just like there isn't.
There are other ones though that like I look back, like I was loving fucking Moon Knight the whole time, and now in I think I just anybody smell burnt toast. In retrospect, I'm like, it wasn't as good as I really thought it was.
Yeah, I was the same way too. Like I'm like, all right, it's entertaining, I think we had talked about it last week where it was, Marvel is kind of throwing out the third string, where it's like, the main quarterback is hurt, so let's throw out the fucking third string guy, and it's just like, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, Eternals, Shang-Chi, you're like, okay, all right, I guess I'll go with it because they have that track record. But
I feel like phases 1, 2, and 3 were the amazing oral. Blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's like, all right, let me pull out my micro penis. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's gonna.
Yeah, but like I said, I always look forward to their movies. I get excited. I think it's
They
just
got my money.
yeah, exactly. But I'm trying to find other stuff to watch that's not Star Wars and superheroes all the time.
Me too. I've watched a bunch of things this week.
Yeah, I watched this weekend. I started watching The Offer. Have you watched that show? It's on Paramount Plus. It is
What are
a
the pluses?
plus. It is a show about the making of The Godfather.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about it.
And it's I think the guy's name was Ruddy. That he was a guy that was just like a computer guy. And
Miles Teller plays.
Yes, Miles Teller is the main character in it. The story is about
Stellar cast.
oh, it's an amazing cast.
Juno Temple, Giovanni Ribisi,
Colin Hanks,
Dan Fogler.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's the whole story about how this guy he I think his name is Ruddy. I'm so bad with names.
Yeah, it is Ruddy.
Yeah, his
Al
name
Ruddy.
Is Al Ruddy. He goes and he's just like a computer guy, and he meets this girl who owns the Chateau Marmont.
Shamalama ding dong.
Yeah, so she introduces him to all these like TV network executives, and they're all talking about like they're coming up with shows for pitches, and he's like, yeah, you guys do all the same stuff. Like you got to do something that's a little bit different, and he basically came up with the concept he pitched, and now he wasn't even a producer or wasn't even in the system. He befriended this guy who was a writer, and he was like, yeah, I got I think you should do something that's in a war thing. Well, they're like, oh, well, we have like F Troop and all that stuff at the time because it's based in the 70s. And he's like, no, you should do one with like the Nazis. And he was the one who came up with Hogan's Heroes.
Okay.
So that was a hit, and he decided, well, he wants to do movies because he's like, it. So it's a whole story about how he gets to
watch this.
It's really good. Like he gets into Paramount
Okay.
Because he's like a real go-getter. He befriends the CEO of Paramount, and at this time, The Godfather, the book, comes out, and it's huge. Now,
Right.
Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather, before that, everything was shit, and he's complaining to his wife. He's like, only 3 people came to my book signing. This sucks. And then she goes, why don't you write about what you know? You grew up in the city with the gangsters and stuff like that. Why don't you write about what you know? So he wrote The Godfather. Becomes a huge hit. Paramount gets the rights to it. They gave it to Ruddy and said, you're going to make this picture. But at the same time, which I never really knew about this, is that, because now every, mafia thing's like, oh, Godfather and Goodfellas. Bless you.
Thank you.
They celebrate that stuff. But at the time when that book came out, Mario Puzo, like, the mafia fucking hated him. They
Probably
wanted
death threats.
Yeah. And the character in The Godfather, Fontaine,
right?
Frank Sinatra thought that was based on him.
Oh shit!
And Frank was in with the mafia, so Frank tells the mafia, "You got to get rid of this. I heard they're making a movie about it, and I don't want to be disgraced and all that stuff." Oh. So it's this whole story about how they're getting The Godfather made, and the guy who was in. You probably know the actor's name because you're on there. He was in The Walking Dead. He was in Fantastic Beasts. He plays Francis Ford Coppola. He's fucking great. And Mario Puzo is just...
Dan Fogler.
Yeah. And the guy who plays Mario Puzo, who writes The Godfather, it's like, I never realized that. I knew that they co-wrote it together.
Right.
Because they're like, well, who's going to write the script? And Ruddy's like, we'll just get the author to write it. He's like, he's not a screenwriter.
Patrick Gallo.
Yeah,
was the actor who played Mario Puzo.
Yeah, he's great in that movie too.
Well, I'm looking at Andy Calhoun is played by Michael Gandolfini.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I gotta watch this now.
It's so there's 6 episodes I think total, and they're like an hour plus each. I watched the first 2. I can't wait to watch the rest. It's just It's fascinating. You get like the mobster gangster story. You also get the insides of Hollywood, how it worked back then.
I know what I'm watching when we get off the air.
It's like a mix of like The Sopranos and Winning Time. It's the best way I can say
I'll take it.
It's that 70s, like get to know the ins and outs.
Is it shot this? Well, I know it's a different network, but I'm wondering if it's shot the same way. I just love the way Winning Time was shot.
Oh yeah, no, Winning Time was shot in that like 70s grainy stuff. It's The Offer is not like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that was amazing. And then also I watched. Oh, I almost forgot the one thing that I watched this weekend too was the George Carlin documentary.
Okay, so before we do get to that, I just wanted, because we're going to talk about that for a bit. Probably.
Yeah, that one's going to be
I
for a
did
while.
watch the first episode of Time Traveler's Wife on HBO.
I did too.
I did like it.
I thought it was okay.
I like her.
Yeah.
And I like him. I say it upstairs. That's the guy who plays Ford in Divergent.
Yes.
Ford? Is that his name?
Four, yeah.
Ford? Whatever. He's the guy from Divergent.
As in number 4.
No, because that was another movie, I Am Number 4.
Okay.
He was in a movie, I Am Number 4, but he was also played Ford in... Anyway. Also...
Ford versus Ferrari? What's going on?
I watched that first episode, and the whole season's out, of Angeline. I still don't know who the fuck she is. She was this woman who was like, I'm going to be famous, and like bought billboards and put her face up. I drove around Hollywood in a pink Corvette.
Okay.
And she was basically the precursor. I want to say she birthed the idea of influencer, because she was nobody.
Okay.
She was like in a band kind of thing, but then just decided, I want to be famous, and I want to be famous for being famous. Wait, what do you mean? No, I just want everybody to be like, that's Angeline. She's famous. I know her. That's this. Nobody knew who she was other than she was Angeline. So I watched the first episode. It was okay. It had the girl who's in Shameless, the daughter.
Yeah. The young one, or not the hot one?
The hot one with the brown hair.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember her name.
I know her name's Fiona in Shameless, so.
And then the only other thing I watched besides the George Carlin special was I watched the first episode of Night Sky. Night Sky with fucking Nazi getting his dick sucked in the prison TV show on HBO. J.K. Simmons.
Oh, we are farmers. Dun, 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 dun.
Where him and his wife have this like shed, and under the shed is like this door that takes them to like another planet / universe where they are in a room and just like kind of stare at the stars. That's all I've seen in the first episode, kind of like something's going on with her kind of thing.
And what was the show called?
Night Sky.
Okay.
I think it's another one of those like, oh, it's on this thing, and they dump like 5 episodes or all the episodes. I'm not sure how many so far. I just watched the first one. It's okay. If I have time, I'll download and watch the rest.
Yeah, my binging is really much come to an end where it's just like certain things. I mean, like
even Angelina, I was just like, I'm not getting pulled into this. I can't. It's not hooking me.
Yeah, I mean, like I was loving The Offer, but I was like, I'm not going to spend 6 hours of my life just sitting on the couch. Although I'd love to. Yeah, so I space them out a little bit. Like I said, right now I'm watching The Offer. Still hate watching The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead. Oh, it's so fucking bad at this point. I'm just like, yeah, who cares?
I did watch the first, but not the second part to the George Carlin special.
Okay.
I'm about 20 minutes into the second half.
It's a long one. Yeah,
it's 2 parts.
2 hours each. So you're talking like 4 hours.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's actually good. You know, if you did watch the first one, for me, first of all, I mean, George Carlin. I mean, what else could you say? He was like one of the best of all time.
And I know most of what they've already talked about before.
Yeah,
Probably
the second one is probably, that was more of our generation of dealing with Carlin.
But even the history stuff, I know most of that old history stuff from the first one, and it's really funny. But I think it's because I've heard so many other people like Kevin Smith and stuff talk about it. Joe Rogan talk about the genius of George Carlin and what his early career was, and you know, him and Lenny Bruce and all that stuff. So I knew a lot of that, but you know, it just took me back though, because I'm listening to him do the, you know, what is it? Shit, fuck.
The 7, you know, he basically invented the 7
It's
deadly
like shit,
words.
fuck, piss, cunt,
Cocksucker,
motherfucker, and tits.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I remember on marching band trips, like some of the stuff I'm hearing, and I was like, oh my God, this is like that tape I had in marching band, like when we would be on bus trips, just playing shit and listening to comedy. I'm like, wow. And I got a little bit nostalgic. I really did. I was just like, wow, to think of like how many memories in my life I attribute to George Carlin.
Oh, yeah. And how prolific he was, where the stuff that he talks about in those specials are more like people still share them to this day because they're like, it makes so much sense. I mean, between the abortion stuff and, just all the stuff that's on there. I like the first part because I wasn't too familiar with like the hippy dippy weatherman and the early skinny tie George Carlin, which wasn't really my thing. But it was interesting to see how he literally reinvented himself like 4 times in his career.
Because he had to. And it's so amazing to see that because, I mean, you've seen so many artists who are like stuck in that rut and their shtick or whatever it is, their genre of music, their style kind of goes out of phase, but they're still stuck in it and can't get out of it. And their career goes nowhere. But George Carlin like fucking was like, well, I got to adapt or die.
Yep. Yeah, and it was totally him. I mean, the whole early, suit and tie guy really wasn't him. When he finally grew his hair long and his beard and became the counterculture guy, like that was his true voice. And I never really knew the whole stuff about his wife, how bad of an alcoholic she was.
And his mom.
Yeah, and the whole Coke thing with him. Like, I knew about the Coke thing. And yeah, definitely getting to like almost this. What the hell was that? Oh, can we? Oh. I'm
gonna show the.
There was a bug the size.
Bug. That fucking thing is a. Where is it? There it is. It's a giant fucking spider. Is what it was.
Ooh.
Dude, it was like the size of like a $50 walking across the floor. I'm like, oh shit. God damn it. You're still trying to get me.
We're getting infested in here.
No, it fell. It fell off my shoe and went into my other shoe, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want that thing in there. Yeah.
So anyway,
I didn't know all that about his wife.
No, and it did bring me back to definitely when was like I was very fortunate that I saw George Carlin live.
I never did.
I saw it, and it was funny because when I watched it. I remember I saw him at the Paramount in Peekskill.
Right.
And I forget who I went with. I think I might have went with like Kevin O'Brien maybe or something like that. I honestly don't remember. But I know he was working out the HBO special Jamming in New York. Because it was right around because I remember when he came out he said, listen, I'm doing this HBO special. I want to run through it. I'm going to do that first and then do some other stuff. And we're like, okay, I don't care. Like any Carlin is good Carlin. And it was right around the Gulf War. So he, went into all that stuff and that became Jammin' in New York, which I didn't realize. I was like, oh, we were watching for that special because everybody knows Class Clown. Everybody knows Carlin in Carnegie.
Right.
That stuff, Seven Deadly Words, all that stuff. But like, that was kind of an overlooked one, and it was weird. Like, yeah, I won't talk too much about the second part because there are some revelations in there that I didn't know. Stuff about his personal stuff, and how he went. Because it just seemed like 1 minute he was here, next minute he was gone.
Yeah.
But there was he had a super bad heart condition.
Right.
He was constantly. So I
probably all the cocaine.
Probably. He had a bunch
cocaine. When he talks about like, and again, if you're going to watch it, people, it's not the kind of thing you just kind of put on and not pay attention to. Because there was a lot of stuff where it was like, they explained things by animating his writing.
Yeah. A lot of handwritten stuff that he.
So I didn't know where he writes his apology to his daughter about like how bad of a person he is and how much he kind of like just wants to cause himself pain because he feels he's deserving of pain and and all the cocaine and Adderall and all the other shit he did.
Yeah.
I was like, well, cocaine and Adderall, dude. Like, that'll fucking blow your heart up right there.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it was sad actually to hear his daughter Kelly talk about the early relationship, like how she became such a strong woman after that. Because like there was that one where they went on a vacation and they were constantly fighting. Hawaii,
Yeah.
And she drafted up an agreement letter.
When your kid is like writing you an agreement, like, I will not do cocaine for the rest of the fucking trip.
I will not drink the rest of the shit, because she was really bad too, and she came out of it. So and it was.
Didn't know she was a producer for HBO after that. Like,
Yeah, she did a ton of stuff after
Yeah.
that. So if you're a comedy nerd like we are, and you're a Carlin fan, definitely. I mean, it's a long one. It took me 2 sittings, but at the same time, I was just riveted.
I hope it would. It's 2 parts.
Well,
Just like my ass. Left cheek, right cheek.
and then the old dream catcher in the middle.
That's right, baby.
Who drew the dream catcher?
I'll catch those dreams.
Yeah, so that was the big movie that I saw, besides Jackass 4.5. And I did, you last week talked about Firestarter.
Yeah.
I finally watched Firestarter.
Didn't like it?
No. I mean, it was okay. It was,
I was entertained for like the hour and whatever it was, and I'm not going to watch it again.
yeah. You know what pissed me off? You might want to hit the spoiler thing. I mean, it's not like anybody gives a shit.
Fine. It's spoiled. Go get the milk. Why not? It's spoiled.
Oh, fuck off! Garbage day!
Is that how you felt about the movie?
Yes. Now, it was entertaining. The story was okay. The actress was good. Very weird seeing Zac Efron as a father.
Yeah.
Although, whatever. The thing that pissed me off about the movie is, the mother, this one guy, I don't even know his name. He was recruited by the lab to get the fire starter, the twisted fire starter.
The Native American guy.
Yeah, we'll call him Chief for this,
Yeah.
He goes, put it in the basket, Chief. Juicy fruit.
Nobody out there has anybody.
Wrong movie. So the Chief goes out. He's trying to get the fire starter. He kills the mother.
I'm a fire starter.
Twisted fire starter. Hey. Oh, who needs the Adderall now? So kills the mother.
Right.
So now the father is on the run with the fire starter. He gets kidnapped. They bring him in. She comes in
Yep.
and lays waste to the whole fucking place. Even kills her own
Burn
father.
it all down.
Yeah, he's like, burn it all down.
Well, he does the little
Oh, yeah.
and pushes her to do it.
Yep. And that was creepy too. Like every time he did it, his eyes bled, and you're like, "Oh God, that sucks." Burns the whole place down. Blah blah blah. And at the end, she's in it, and then the Chief comes out, picks her up, and they walk off into the sunset. I'm like, you couldn't fucking throw a torch at that fucking fool. He killed your mother, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go run off with the Chief.
Fucking
I mean,
pedophile.
God, yeah, that was creepy. And
You're a kid toucher.
You're a kid toucher. And yeah, you fucking put it in the basket, Chief, you motherfucker.
That's right.
Throw that sink out the window and go run away by yourself.
That's right.
Go fuck another fish, asshole!
That's right.
Exactly.
Go fuck another fish, asshole.
Totally. I mean, guys, if you're a Stephen King adapter and you like those movies, don't watch this one. It's not that good.
Again, I was entertained for the hour and whatever, and I was like, all right.
I
I wasn't mad that I watched it.
I was very happy that it came out on the old Peacock and I didn't have to see it in the theater. Yeah, at least they don't have a plus after the name. Peacock Plus. That's going to be the one where it's like,
CNN Plus lasted like a fucking week. CNN Plus, CNN Minus.
Yeah. CNN check minus. That's my favorite when you used to get the check minus. It's like, you did the work, but it was shit.
That's right.
It wasn't a grade.
It's not a 0.
Yeah.
You handed a piece of paper with your name on
yeah,
it.
Check Plus is like, Check Plus was always like, yeah, you did it. You got all the answers right. Check was like, okay, that's a good job. Check minus was, you did it, and it fucking sucked.
Well, it's like my students get mad because like so every homework assignment I give is 4 points. If they don't fucking hand it in, they get a 1.
So
And it was like, why do you give them a 1? I was like, because there's no recovering from that, and I'm not dealing with like, oh, it's a 0 because I forgot to turn it in. Can I turn it in? It's like, oh, it was so bad I only got a 1, and they don't fucking know. They're like, I guess it sucks so bad I got a 1 because I copied it off some other kid and it wasn't even the right page. I get that one a lot.
The quote, the great George Carlin again. One time, I never fucked a 10, but one time I fucked 5 2s.
And I think that ought to count for something.
You gotta be drunk to fuck a 1.
Never got drunk enough to fuck a 1. You gotta be drunk. Some guys that get so drunk to fuck anything. Let's get her. That's a signpost, Bob. Let's go for it.
I mean, so many quotes. I mean, you know.
I mean, and like you said, like a lot of his comedy like made you like stop and go, holy shit, that fucking makes sense. That's real.
Yeah.
And it's like I think people get hung up in that's the kind of comedy I enjoy, is that comedy that makes you fucking think about shit. The let me pull my dick out kind of like, and there I am fucking her in the ass and she farts and my balls blew up. Like that kind of comedy, I'm like, all right, it's kind of like gutter humor funny, but what I really, really enjoy and can listen to over and over again is the George Carlin kind of comedy where it's like, he's making a point in humor and satire to make you really think about the seriousness of a situation.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about the second part, which I will talk about, the brilliance of Carlin was that the way that he structured his specials, and they said this in the doc, was like, give him the 37 minutes of, you know, the political stuff or the rants that he would go on, and he would always slip in like a fart joke or like a childish toilet humor thing. And then go right back into the political stuff.
I feel like he was
kind of
brilliant.
cleanse the palate. You
he
know?
was brilliant at popping that in, like, and being able to notice, like, I've got them, but I'm about to start losing them. Let me throw a fart joke in there and bring them back.
Yeah, and that's you know where it kind of got to the end where it was getting too angry and it wasn't funny. But yeah, I mean, like we said, we just sucked that movie stick for a while, but
Well, who cares?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I would give that thing a full on chub. I mean,
What I've seen so far, the whole first part and part of the second part, definitely give it a full chub.
Yeah, it's definitely full chub material.
And I'll probably watch it again because I'm sure there's stuff like I just didn't pick up on.
Yeah, it's just one of those that you can kind of go back to. You know, like I love documentaries about people that I really
and
dig,
I don't know about you, I'll rewatch a documentary about something I really, really enjoy because when it comes up, I want to be able to enthusiastically and fully be able to talk about it.
Yeah,
like Filmage.
I was just gonna say I've seen that a bunch of times too.
That's what I hate saying, but Filmage is one of those ones like I don't mind putting on when I go to sleep. Yeah. Because if I fall asleep during, it's like, it's all right. I've watched this so many times. I know like the whole fucking thing. And
it's like putting on an episode of Friends or The Office. You're just like, I could close my eyes and I know exactly what's going on.
Is there a movie you could put on that you're like, I can like that's your go-to? I'm gonna go to sleep, and not because it's boring, because I know this movie so well that I'll put it on and I'll get so relaxed because I like it that I'll fall asleep watching it.
You know, I'm not really big into falling asleep to TV.
Okay. I mean, my wife is like, I don't even fucking know how she'll put on a show.
Yeah.
And just let it keep going. 10 episodes later, she's still snoozing away.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll put on like YouTube or something like that, or like a podcast or something but I only listen to like 5 minutes of it, if that, and I'm out, you know? I'm not like the type that's just like, I mean, there are the go-to movies, you know, or like.
Like, for me, it sounds so stupid, but I don't know if you've ever watched Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, Tom Cruise.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Where it's basically Space Alien Groundhog's Day. But that's one of those movies that, like, I'll put it on and I just will fall asleep, and then if I wake up in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, and I'll watch and then doze off again.
Yeah,
I just fucking love that movie. And they talked about doing a sequel, and I'm like, please don't.
Yeah, I don't.
I hate when a sequel ruins the first movie.
Yeah, I don't really.
Candyman.
Candyman.
Garbage! Fish Day!
That's another one of those movies that the fucking sequel was, let's recut the first one and pretend it's a different movie.
Oh God, yeah. I never watched any of the other Candymans. Like
No.
I've seen clips. I mean, that's why we keep blowing freaking Dead Meat. I'm like, I get through every
I don't have to watch it.
Silent
I'll
Night,
dead meat that shit.
Deadly Night, and like, yeah, I got through all 6 Tremors. You know, like it's like I'm
Whoa.
not watching any of those.
Whoa, I've watched 4 of the 6 Tremors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Even the
You
Jamie
know,
Kennedy ones.
you know why? Because I'm watching it going like, all right, I hope it just gets gooder.
It never does.
No.
You can Michael Gross the shit out of that thing. but
Maybe
it's
this will
not.
be the one that like gets back and like you're like, all right, I'm back in.
It's like the Leprechaun movies.
We were, I blew the mind. I blew the people in the van this week. I blew the minds of the people in the van this weekend because none of them realized that like, oh my God, why can't I remember his name? Fucking Leprechaun, Willow.
Yeah, I know who you.
They never really picked. I was like, any movie, like anything that's got like a little person, it's
Yeah.
him.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
And he had his own show at one point that looked at him like doing his career and trying to be him, and it was like a total satire show where it was like he thought he was great, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you're just that guy who just plays the little people." Yeah, whatever. What the fuck is his name? Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis,
And
which sounds like a Willow character.
it
to
does.
begin with.
I'm Warwick Davis.
I'm Warwick Davis. Give me back me gold.
But I mean, isn't he fucking Wicket? The Ewok.
Yes, he was. He was. The
He's like
original Ewok.
I didn't realize it. Not only was he the Leprechaun in every fucking Leprechaun movie, and he was the not gargoyle, the fuck in Harry Potter.
Dobby.
Here we go.
No.
Vault 713.
Oh, was he the banker dude?
Yeah, in Gringotts, he was the banker who rides them down to the thing. But he's in fucking every Star Wars movie, and a lot of them he has a completely fucking different role.
Yeah. Well, them little people can really fucking, you know.
I mean, when you're good, and I guess like, hey, let's get him. He can be every little person. We don't
He's
have to break
dependable.
in.
He's a good actor.
We don't have to break in a new little person.
There's not too many Dinklages out there. Oh, the Dink.
I think Dink is above all that,
Yeah.
and I think that might also have to do with I think Peter Dinklage is not
He
as little as Warwick Davis. Like height wise, I think he's tall. He's taller.
Well, he also transcends his size. Like when you
Yes.
see him,
His
you don't
personality.
see it. Yeah, his personality, and it's just like it. You don't even notice that he's a little person.
I'm gonna IMDb that the height thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like when I go to Manals and we watch Little People, Big World. I can't fucking deal with that.
Oh my
show.
God, I can't watch that. That's like 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like when I go over there, there's certain times there'll always be a marathon on. Like we watch Bar Rescue, which I love. Fucking John Tapper.
Okay.
But lately it's been Little People, Big World, and I just get so mad at that show. I don't know why. They're just little, like they're all, you know. I don't know. I don't want to offend a lot of people.
Too late. Really? Now we're gonna not. Okay. Whoa.
Well, because Matt always talks about going to the pumpkin. We're having the pumpkin fest. I'm like, you're the fucking size of a pumpkin. Stop it.
That's right.
And who takes care of this goddamn farm? He's like the little person of freaking fairyland. Who the hell's doing all the
Who's mowing your grass?
Yeah. You never see anybody on that fucking farm, like, you know, pulling a piece of corn out of the ground or something. He's walking around with his little fucking stilts. Like,
So Warwick Davis, 3'6". Peter Dinklage, 4'4".
oh,
He's got almost a foot on him.
nice.
All cock. That's why the Dink transcends his
The
size.
dink ain't got a small dink. You know
He's got a
fucking-
big personality and a cock to match it.
Oh God, isn't it sick that I always think about that shit when you see a little person? It's like, it's their fucking dick the same size.
Coming back around, we own this city. I want to know what happened with him and the freaking midget stripper in the back room.
Oh damn, I haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh,
I'll watch
shit, I'm
it.
sorry.
I'll watch it tonight. I that was one of the shows where I'm
Burned.
like,
This week's episode was good.
oh yeah,
It was
It's a
really
great
good.
show. There's way too many characters in it. But I'll remember the little person because I love little people. My grandmother loved little people too.
Fucking Jenkins is the man.
Jenkins.
I remember his name now.
Jenkins.
He's
Finally.
Jenkins. Fucking Jenkins in the back room with the midget.
Yeah, he's always got that look. Like he just smelled a fart, and he just kind of like. I love freaking
Bernthal, man.
Bernthal. He's goddamn it. He's the man.
Yo, let me get a pack of Bernthals and a Diet Coke.
Yeah. You got freaking Rick. You got the Punisher. Yeah, we can just go on. And I forgot to. It's so funny. Every time we talk about Bernthal, I think of another movie he was in.
Oh shit.
So like the last time we talked about it, and I forgot the Punisher, and I'm like, oh, he was the Punisher too.
Right.
Now this week I'm like, motherfucker was in King Richard too.
Oh God, that's
he was
right.
the tennis guy.
He was the tennis guy.
The guy who owned the school. How come I never heard of that man? Two girls from Compton. How come I never heard of him? Yeah, he was freaking awesome in that too.
Yep.
Goddamn John Bernthal.
All right. Do we have music?
No.
Okay.
We did have Harry Styles dropped a new album.
Yeah. He also did a live concert on Apple TV, Apple Music.
I loved his last album. I thought it was great.
Sure, we were listening to that in the van at Ragnar.
Ragnarok?
Yeah, it was funny too because fucking we do Spotify, like I don't know what it's called, like Spotify roulette or whatever, where I pick a song in Spotify and we hook my radio to the car, my phone to the car, and I just pick a song and play it, and then you pass your phone to somebody.
Oh,
and they go into your Spotify. I'm like, please don't go on my pictures. And they go into Spotify and search for a song and play it, and then it's like Harry Styles. So then we get to a transition. Now every time we fucking start the car, Harry Styles again. Harry Styles again. We
It's a good thing that the Mentors, suck for rent didn't come on.
Thank God.
It was clearly understood. I was listening to the playlist, which, by the way, I think we pretty much did it for today. It's been a hot mess. We love it. A lot of good stuff. But, yeah, don't forget, don't be sleeping on the Hey Pal, What's New Spotify playlist. We're always adding stuff. I was listening to it. I listen to it all the time and freaking suck for rent. You'll be listening to like, it'll be like this really sweet song, like something we put on there, and then it's just like, you can suck for rent. It's,
oh my God.
It's quite an eclectic playlist. So, yeah, we didn't even have anything for what the fuck is that today either. We've been. It's a little bit. Hey, look, we're giving you content, motherfuckers.
That's right.
It's
you get to watch me freak out over a giant fucking spider on the bottom of my shoe.
We talk about fat guys falling in the chestnut mart. We talk about
really quick. It always comes up. I think about it and don't say it. You tell that story of that. When we were leaving Myrtle Beach last time, we stopped at the gas station, and I'm inside and I'm like looking. I'm like, what's going on? And it's one of those gas stations that's got, I think it was the gas station. But it's got like is it the McDonald's inside the McDonald's parking lot next to the gas station. I'm looking out the window, and there's this lady sitting on the curb, and I'm like, what the fuck is she doing out there? And apparently, like, she was trying to walk into the McDonald's, and she was very large and fell and could not get up.
Oh, no.
And her family is like out there literally holding her arms and like, Ron, 2, rock, and trying to get her, like, rock her up off the ground. And they finally got her up, put her in the van, and drove away.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
I guess she didn't want that McDonald's.
Yeah, that's like what happened to the woman who passed out at the Sip and Stroll. They picked her up, they threw her in a van and took off.
Was she a great big rapper?
About size 14.
Was she a big lady?
No, I don't know. I missed it.
Oh,
But it reminded me too of like my father we used to have steps that went up and then that way, and my dad would always fall, and then he would be like a turtle. He'd be like on his back, and I'd tell my brother, I'm like, Dad fell again. We gotta go pick him up because you needed 2 people for him.
oh,
Yeah, he was a big gentleman. I love you, Dad. So yeah, I think we did it, man.
yeah.
I think we did it, and yeah, hit.